Clara's car sputtered to a stop in the middle of a dense forest as the rain poured relentlessly. The GPS had led her down a narrow, muddy road, and now she was stranded. Her phone had no signal, and the only sign of civilization was a faint glow through the trees. A village called Black Hollow. With no other options, Clara grabbed her flashlight and jacket and stepped into the storm. The forest was eerily silent, except for the howling wind and the occasional creak of ancient trees. Clara's flashlight flickered as she trudged through the mud, her unease growing with every step. She could have sworn she heard faint whispers among the trees, but every time she turned, there was nothing there. The glow of the village grew brighter, drawing her in like a moth to a flame. When Clara reached Black Hollow, the village was eerily quiet. The cobblestone streets were slick with rain, and the stone cottages looked abandoned, their windows dark and lifeless. Yet a faint light flickered in the distance. A tavern. Clara hurried toward it, her footsteps echoing unnaturally loud in the silence. The air felt heavy, as if the village itself was watching her. The tavern door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit room warmed by a roaring fireplace. A few villagers sat at wooden tables, their faces shadowed and unreadable. They turned to look at Clara, their eyes hollow and distant. She asked for help, but the villagers only stared in silence. Finally, an old man with a hunched back approached, his voice raspy and foreboding. "You shouldn't have come here," he said. The old man's words sent a chill down Clara's spine. "Black Hollow isn't a place for outsiders," he warned. "No one leaves." Clara tried to laugh it off, insisting she just needed a phone or a mechanic. But the villagers' hollow eyes and eerie silence made her uneasy. Before she could react, the tavern door slammed shut behind her, trapping her inside. The villagers rose from their seats, their faces twisting into grotesque smiles. Their eyes glowed faintly in the firelight, and their movements were unnaturally fluid, as if they were puppets on strings. Clara backed away, her heart pounding. "What's going on?" she demanded. The old man chuckled. "Black Hollow is a place for the lost. Once you enter, you become one of us." Clara's flashlight flickered and died, plunging the room into near darkness. The fire in the hearth dimmed, and the villagers closed in around her. Their whispers echoed in her ears, a haunting chant. "Stay with us, forever." Clara stumbled toward the door, but it wouldn't budge. Cold hands grabbed her, pulling her into the shadows. Clara screamed as the villagers dragged her deeper into the darkness. The last thing she saw was the old man's face, his grin stretching impossibly wide. The fire extinguished completely, and the tavern fell silent. Outside, the storm raged on, drowning out Clara's final cries. When the storm passed, the road through the forest was empty. Clara's car sat abandoned, its engine cold and silent. The forest was quiet again, the whispers gone. In the distance, the lights of Black Hollow flickered once, before vanishing into the night, as if the village had never existed at all. Months later, travelers passing through the forest reported hearing faint screams carried on the wind. Some claimed to see a faint glow in the distance, but no one could ever find the village. Black Hollow had vanished once more, waiting for its next visitor. The legend of the Vanishing Village grew, a warning to those who dared to venture too far off the beaten path.